Yo, what is going on, guys? Godrekton here today, bringing you another VOD review. In this game, we are finally watching a game where I am playing against Darius, which is quite the long-awaited matchup that I've been requested quite a lot of times, and I end up forgetting to do this matchup because I felt like I've already done it before. But this time, I didn't forget, and I had a pretty good game here with a lot of different skill sets being used, which I want to highlight in this video. A lot of that is to do with wave management, being able to dive effectively, and then ending up using your advantage created in the lane to snowball the game and end as fast as possible. But I guess as we're going into that, I do want to talk about the matchup real quickly. There's a big misconception with this matchup, and I do want to try and cover all the elements as much as I can. Now, I don't think it's the best game to show how I would normally lane against a Darius, but even taking away those things and using this other thing I did instead of crash diving, which we'll get into, I ended up destroying the Darius, and it became quite a no contest just from that alone.
30 seconds until minions.
But I guess one of the things I do want to highlight though is, how does the matchup go? Does Darius win the matchup? Does Renekton win it? What happens? So the idea of this matchup is, as long as the Renekton player is confident and is good at micromanagement, with their clicks, their fast combos, using their W to disengage and then E'ing back out, there should never really be a problem with this lane, to be quite honest. And I feel like the better Renekton player you are, the easier this matchup becomes. A lot of people will say, oh, I struggle with Darius, he's always doing a lot of damage and I just don't know what to do. But I think the biggest reason that they struggle so much is that they give Darius too much respect. And when you give Darius this much respect, he's able to do whatever he wants. And I don't think enough people put a lot of thought into their combos and how they go about the matchup. But I guess we can just fast forward into that now a little bit. So level 1, I'm just covering my top side, just seeing if anyone invades. It's always important to grab the sector of the map. If you're playing from blue side, then your jungler can go stay here, put a ward down, go bot side, or recall, go bot. Kind of up to them what they want to do. But Lee Sin wants to keep a ward early just for ward hops. But yeah, Lee goes bot side, so I'm just staying a little bit longer. Ideally, I do want to move into lane a little bit quickly here. Now, there's a lot of different theories on how you can play the level 1, but the way I play it usually is that I hold my ability and just see what they skill. I'm often just waiting for my opponent to see what they skill, because Darius is a champion that can either start W and go for a W all in level 1, or at least get a hefty trade out the way. Or he can take Q, which can, take his opponent's health off and kind of just win the trades early. Because if the opponent tries to trade first into him, he can get a few autos off, and then he can land his Q to get some healing back, or some health back rather, with the healing from Q. And he could also apply a lot of damage to weaken his opponent, and then he can zone them off the minion wave. So with that, if he takes Q, you want to take Q. But even if he takes W, you can also take Q. Or you can take E. E is good, if Darius tries to cheese from this bush. So level 1, you kind of want to walk like this. Just walk along this wall. So if he does come out, you can kind of just click back out instantly. Or you can walk into river. However, if you're walking into river, you're most likely going to get zoned completely from the waves. So I think at most, you just want to stay here. Stand next to your minion wave, hold your ability. If Darius comes out, you can take W start. If he takes W, try and go for an all-in with Ignite. Being that this matchup usually revolves around Darius having Ghost, Renekton can typically win the level 1 with PTA and Ignite if he plays in the minion wave here. If I was to fight here instead, I'd probably lose, because all the minion damage adding up is 100 health. It's 60 to 100 damage, depending on if casters aggro me and the melees, which will end up giving him a lot more damage. So if we apply that into our own way of dealing with Darius here, Darius is going to take a lot of damage, and my W start's going to end up helping me win the trade on top of Ignite, which is doing 70 damage early. Yeah, level 1, Darius comes out here, most likely leashed. I end up taking my Q here, so I can last the minions. I end up taking a Q hit, which was very bad. And this is a point I want to prove. So a lot of the early game, I didn't really play it as optimally. The way you actually want to play this is level 1, just start clicking around a lot. Get in the habit of clicking a lot in and out, because if you don't do this enough in this lane, Darius will end up just throwing Qs on you. And if you're not trying to move and trying to figure out how you want to play into it, then he's going to just get all his damage off. And the more Qs he lands on you, the lower your health bar gets, and obviously the more Darius is stronger into Renekton. Yeah, level 1, I should like Q a bit earlier, then walk out, but I react too late here, and he ends up getting my bone playing in Q. So already not the best start. I have to kind of like be a little bit apprehensive. My Q's back up now. I again tank his Q hit, but this time I tried to walk into him. If we just go back real quickly, what I typically try and do, if I know I can't dodge the Q, I will walk into him. And like Darius and Renekton have pretty much a similar Q cooldown. So every time your Q's up, his Q's up. And what you can do is you can walk into him, auto Q. You can start to walk out. He might prep Q. Walk back into him to avoid the damage. And you should be good. Like right now, I should be walking into him. Like his Q will barely do anything if I walk into him here. But because I just tank the full hit, I end up losing a lot of health. And now he applies all these bleed stacks and I have to stand back. So I use a potion here now too, just to get my health up. This time we avoid the Q. I do have Lee Sin on my side here, so I can get a Lee gank with him pushing into my side. So now I'm level 2. I can actually be more of a champion now. As soon as Renekton gets level 2 and 3 in this matchup, Darius really can't do a lot. Like, a good Renekton player will always have a lot of ways to handle the Darius. For instance, now that I have my E, if I feel like Darius is like going to hit Q on me, I can just E into him, avoid the main damage, and then I can turn my damage onto him and end up chunking him out and disengaging with my dice. And Darius can't really compete with that. Like as you see here, this is like a typical combo I do. I do E, Q, auto attack, then E out level 2. Empower W, get out. It's really important to abuse this combo, by the way. Like, this combo is your bread and butter into this lane. It is so good, and it's so safe. And then while you're doing this combo, after your W, you can, like, W, then E out. And if you have Empower W, you can end up doing Empower W, then Auto, then E. Which gets more damage off, and then Darius is forced to walk away. And he can't really compete. And by the time he can throw E out, like, you're basically out of range with your dice. So it's a very important combo that you do want to be doing. But right now, I have a lot of momentum in this lane. I'm level 3, I'm building my Fury up. Darius has to respect that. I played against this guy a few times, and he's pretty much, like, knows how I play Renekton now. And he doesn't really win the lane often. He usually goes Conqueror, but this game he took Lethal Tempo, which I don't think is any better, to be honest. But right now, I think it's important to recognize what we're about to do. Trade, keep my Fury. So, as we move on now, I want to explain what I'm actually doing here. What am I doing with the minion wave right now? I am actually... Well, I'm not going to say it's a slow push, because I'm not really pushing it slow, but... This is basically the introduction to a Crash Dive. I have a giant minion wave here. I have 3 melees, a cannon creep, 5 casters, or 6 casters actually. All this involved is a lot of damage. So the idea of what I want to do right now as a top laner, when I have this giant of a wave and this Fury, is that I can communicate my jungler to gank top. And right now, I'm actually telling my jungler to path top. He's cleared his top side, Crab's up, but aside from just Crab, he can literally walk all the way top and get a free kill on the Darius. Darius does have sums, but if Lee Sin walks in here, I come here with my Empower W, there's literally no way Darius can survive this. And we already know that Kha'Zix also may have started topside because Darius came to lane pretty late. So with that considered, Kha'Zix should show down here right now on a bot Scuttle Crab. At least that's my assumption and what I think. And obviously, if we take away the map here, or the Fog of War, we see Kha'Zix on blue buff right now. So with that being identified, I can go for a dive. Now, this is just in my head. Like, obviously, I would have no idea if he's actually here, but I can only assume that just on the fact that Darius came to lane late. And that's why it's just very important to also jungle track and understand how certain junglers path. Like if, let's say like a Rek'Sai started bot side, like they could like be top, and then I can't go for this, and I'm at more of a risk to actually fuck this up for myself. But being that it's a Kha'Zix and Darius showed this way, it kind of gives me, it's just pretty obvious to me that we can get away with this. Here I actually can just dive myself, but I did end up just tanking like a WQ from Darius, which ends up making me a bit low. Just ending up waiting here for the Lee Sin. Stab my Fury. I come up now, auto the minion to keep my Fury up. Power W on the E there, and then I just dice out. Easy like that. It's literally so easy, and there's zero counterplay. Darius now misses all these minions because he has no TP, and we just get a free kill from that alone. So at this stage in the game as a top laner, especially in this elo, I mean, not even this elo, but any elo, players like this will instantly tilt. And Renekton, like, the whole reason Renekton is so strong is because of this reason alone. Renekton is so good at wave management and manipulating waves, he can just perma-do this with an aggressive jungler. Like Nidalee, Elise, Lee Sin, anything that has high burst damage or has a lot of CC to complement the Renekton. That's like when the Renekton pick becomes really good. So now that Darius misses all these minions, he's going to end up becoming really behind because he can't get the XP. And he misses the additional gold too, which will tilt a top laner into oblivion. So here, I go to recall now. A little bit late on my recall, maybe. I could have just recalled here, but I kind of like to do this out of Fog of War. And the enemy doesn't know exactly where I am, but obviously, from common knowledge, I will have based. In terms of items, I'm going for Blair Ruin King Rush here. I think Blair Ruin King is just Renekton's strongest item for this lane. Darius cannot do a single thing if Renekton has bulk, because the stats bulk's providing me is melting any additional health that Darius is purchasing. I get a lot of AD, lifesteal, attack speed for faster combos, faster fury, animation cancelling. Even the movement speed proc from Blair Ruin King makes it very strong too. So there's literally nothing Darius can do if I buy that item. So it ends up being like my best friend in this matchup. So here I'm just got last hit minions. As I'm doing this, I'm just looking on the map to see what's going on. Always good to get information. I could also ping out summoners if my team ends up doing stuff. And I didn't realize this in the game. I didn't realize this. I think I looked for a brief second, then I ended up seeing my Lee Sin die, like on the kill feed. Yeah, I didn't see that. But right now, here's another example of where I will be crash diving again. I have pickaxe, a longsword. I still, like, my ignite can come up within 69 seconds. Obviously, that's not enough time to get the dive, but I am very close to 6 soon. So off this cannon wave that we have here and the additional minions over here, I'm going to get level 6 and Lee Sin's pathing topside now. At this point, this is another way to identify a free crash dive. Lee Sin will do wolves, and then as the wave like gets closer and closer with the bigger it's getting, I just spam ping Lee Sin to come top lane. Or I can even type now, like, come top. Crash, like, you know, we dive or something. And then a jungler's eyes will light up, like they get the money symbols on the eyes, and then they just run top lane and try to secure the kill with the top laner. Yeah, right now, I'm just gonna last hit minions here. Just last hit so it slowly builds up. I have time to think as well. I'm just waiting for Lee Sin. The slower this is too, like, obviously my Lee Sin has time to path top then, opposing to me shoving this out and then all the minions dying by the time Lee Sin comes. You see how I'm pinging right now? I get Darius Q. A thing that kind of interested me too is that this Darius didn't take bone playing for his runes, which is a little bit troll in my opinion. In circumstances like these, I would get the bone plating first. Like, I would probably do like an EQ W trade or something. Because I have a full fury, so I can like burst his health. Actually, I wouldn't even say that. I would just say like I E in, probably... I mean, I could do all that. But either way, a lot of my damage is getting mitigated. But it probably doesn't matter, to be fair. I can probably just dive, like, with the bone playing, to be honest. Because I have 100 Fury. I think wasting all my Fury here would not be worth, in hindsight, actually. Yeah, I do an EQ trade here. I think in my head, I thought he had bone playing for some reason. So I went for that to get, like, the bone playing out. But there's just no need because he didn't take it in the first place. So it was a little bit silly from my part. But not that it matters. Darius is aware anyways because he warded the bush. But from this, Lee Sin being here, like, while we can't get the kill on Darius, he still misses this whole wave. And I get a free playing. So even if I don't kill him, I'm still winning. But being that Katarina's roaming, I walk to Lee Sin here to get his W. Darius still gets a cannon. It's fine. Katarina goes back into Fog of War. We don't know where Kha'Zix is. However, I still have a lot of damage here. And I have my Ignite about to come up. So we can actually act on a dive here. But instead of waiting any longer, we just go for the all-in here. Auto WRQ. Auto, and then he's dead. Like E out. We're fine. In this time, I am spamming in my LeBlanc, I think, to go mid. Because I don't know why she's not just pushing here. Like, I don't know. She's not, like, really reacting to what's going on. But as a top laner, I would just, like, ping mid too. Because Katarina's here. And because she's still here and she's level 6 and I have 100 Fury, we can just do the dive again. So, Lee Sin comes back around. I walk into her. I'm waiting for her to jump here and power W first. Also Q, E out. And just like that, we get 2 kills, and that's pretty much GG at that point. Mid dies. LeBlanc should be... I mean, LeBlanc can roam here. I think she picks up a couple kills, in fact, which makes it worth. Okay. Yeah, it's worth them. Well, sort of.
Blue team double kill. Red team.
Katarina doesn't really... I mean, she misses a cannon here, I think, at max. Maybe. Speed up. Yeah. Either way, it's worth, but a mid laner could also shove in here, if I just explain, like, to get a plating, but LeBlanc saw that, ball lane was overextended, and she roamed, which was the correct play. We're a step closer to our bulk now. We don't really have any kills, which does hinder us a little bit, but it's fine, because Lee Sin is fed, and having a fed jungler is more likely to impact the map. And if you're confident enough as a top laner, like, it's really not a bother if, your jungler gets kills, because you could still play good, outperform your laner who is 2 kills behind, CS behind XP, like, and being that I have a stronger matchup with Renekton into Darius, like, I don't really worry about that at all. Yeah, here I try and keep my health up. Lee Sin is going for the gank again. I saw a flash kick there, and we kill Darius. We see Kha'Zix here. At the moment, I'm trying to, like, shove as fast as I can. Just in case we fight, and Darius can miss minions in the meantime. That ends up not happening, so I just push the tower. Yeah, play it. You have to be careful, though. Like, if I overextended in, like, another game, maybe the jungler would come. Like, my idea is that he is on Krugs, which I am correct, as we see here now. But he is 3-1, and he could potentially kill me. I mean, not really, but I have to expend my ult and maybe my flash, which is not really what I want to do right now. So I'll just take the safer approach of just coming in, going back a little bit, then go for the reset. From the reset, we now get Blair Ruin King, which Darius cannot do anything.
Red team's turn.
Like, I think a problem people have in the lane too is that they invest, like, into a Gore Drinker, which isn't helping you destroy Darius. Like, I don't think that item gives enough burst remotely to make you hard win the matchup. Even Prowler's Claw to an extent, because Prowler's, like, if he just stacks armor or more health, it's just harder to kill. But Bulk is giving me burst, it's giving me counter shred into any health stack, which a lot of top laners buy into as bruises and tanks. So there's really not a problem here with me doing this. Let's go back a little bit. At this stage, I can just play however I want to. Yeah, I'm looking for him to Q like this. I go in. I avoid his Q there by dashing in. I walk into him a bit. Dice in, auto W, auto, build up my Fury. It's not an all-in combo there, I just want to build my Fury. And being that I have my Bork active, I can just get away with this. Now I will fast shove, as I can go for the dive. Darius does get a recall here. So in the meantime, I'm just taking the plating. Shove in, build my Fury again. Darius walks back to lane. Watch the Q. You have to, like, notice, too, like, how he might Q. Like, it's very important to understand how your opponent is using certain abilities. Here, like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, he's going to Q here to get some damage off. So I have to preemptively sidestep that or walk into him. So I sidestep, go for the Empowered W, Q. I Q because I get a 10 Fury, which gives me another Empowered ability. Set up the next dive. Hard shove in here. Go for the play there, and now Darius just is losing them. I mean, it's basically over here. He loses tower, loses this minion wave too. Take this, and we go reset. So at this point in the game, it's perfect timing because we have dragon coming up in 20 seconds, and the enemy already has one dragon. So being a top laner that's just, you know, has first time complete already, and just took top tower, I want to run to dragon here. So I will get my items, run down for control ward. I should change my trinket to red trinket here, but I end up forgetting. But I immediately recognize that. I come down, Kha'Zix is there for the, like, trying to get my bot lane, and we just secure the kill. At this point, I'm going to help do dragon because I'm here, and I ping my Lee Sin to go top lane, just so we're not missing resources. Like, if no one's going to go top here, Darius gets playings, and he will also get additional minions, so that's not really my interest to get him back in the game. Because Darius is quite a strong team fighter if he can get his R off. And obviously, the more effectiveness his R has is based off his items, and the fact he can get 5 bleed stacks. So yeah, I want to make that not a possibility. I want to just keep nullifying him. So after dragon, I come back top lane, as there's not much else to do here. I see Kha'Zix is here. I use red trinket to protect him when he's stealth. Lives on low health, but it's fine. If we got 2 summoners from that, it's really not a big problem. I'll try to look for Lucian, but I'll just join the Katarina kill.
Shut down.
Push out the wave again, keep Lucian top lane. I also just wait here to see if anyone else is coming. Like, I'm the biggest on my team right now, in terms of gold, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like, that would rather come from me, I think. The team, so that's like my mindset. Like, at this stage, when you're in side lane, like, your job is not to get caught out, especially with this bounty. Like, just play it very smart. Look at the map, realize where people could be, and then, you know, play around that. Try not to give resources to the enemy team. Next, I try and make a play mid here, use red trinket. Plan for Fury, we kill Lucian, and next we just push towards mid tower. While my team does Herald. As I'm getting this, I am just looking at the map. I see Katarina, I instantly move. I don't think I need to be scared realistically, because I am that fed. But there's literally no reason for me to start overstay and end up dying. I think a lot of people fall into this too much. Like, they try and ego these fights and end up dying and giving away their gold. And when you give gold to champs like Katarina, Lucian, Kha'Zix, I mean, any of these champs except Nami, like, it just becomes very problematic. Like that. Like, LeBlanc had no reason to do that, though. It was just really stupid. Next, I see Kha'Zix pushing bot. Just gotta collect the wave. Try and go for tower here. It's a little bit dangerous.
Red
due
team's
to the
turret
fact that I don't really see anyone. I do see Kha'Zix behind me. Red Trinket to see where he is. Try and go for a combo, but ultimately I didn't have enough Fury from my Empower W to one-shot. Now I have Fury here. Lucian's overstaying, just flash W him, and we pick up the kill. I don't know why I pressed backspace, my bad. Speed up a little bit. Next, my Lee Sin dies in jungle. Like, I don't know, I wasn't sure what my team was doing at this point. Like, Dragon was coming up in 20 seconds, and then we was doing these, like, random things. Quickly get my reset. Sorry, I keep pressing my backspace key. Run to Dragon. Like, I'm basically the jungle of this game at this point. Lee got me ahead early, so I'll help him out and I'll get him objectives. Yeah, I get the Prowler's Claw this game just so I have like maximum carry potential. Nobody can 1v1 me in this game. I don't think they could regardless, like, of Mythic, but I just felt more comfortable going Prowlers here against their team comp. Have that instant access damage. Right now we're just kind of waiting for Darius. There isn't much to be doing here though. A lot of it is just shoving in the waves and then looking at mid, like, to make a play. Like, we see their bot coming up now with Morgana in the bush. I come over here, Lance Q, Prowler her, RQ. And just like that. That's all we need to do. As a top laner, I shove side lane, and I look for an opportunity to catch out the enemy team and push mid. That's basically my role right now when I'm this fed. It's just like catching people, then forcing players with my team. Like, nobody can do anything either if I'm with my team. Like, how are they going to force on us when I just one-shot whoever jumps on my team? End up taking their jungle, but they have no resources. Very important. Let's go for the back again here. End up trying to push mid just so they can get a bounty. And in that time, my team tries to force a play. Ends up working. He ends up dying though, I think. Yeah. I think the next time I was building, by the way, was, I think it was Black Cleaver. Everyone has, like, a mixed opinion on Black Cleaver, but I don't mind it, though. I just think at most, their stance is usually better, because the stat value you get. And it's just, you know, better if you're so far ahead, because no one can do damage to you. But I think for this game, I just wanted health, and I wanted a bit of, like, CDR, AD. And it's not a bad third item either way, especially when you're snowballing. It's actually not. Next, I ping for the Baron here. There's literally no reason not to do it. I kill Kha'Zix. Ezreal goes top for some reason when I'm spam pinging Baron. Being that our comp doesn't really have great damage against Baron, Ezreal should have been here right away. I don't know why he's taking so long. In another game, this could have backfired, but fortunately for us, ends up not being the biggest problem. Right now, my team pings bot side. I think the ideal play, being that we're all fed, is kind of either to group in one side lane, or like I go top and then everyone else goes bot. And right now, I think is my idea that I just wanted to stay top because, like, what are they gonna do? They're always sacrificing something if I play it right. Kill the cat here, and then they surrender. I actually forgot they surrendered. But the last bit of the game, when I used Baron, I would just, like, stay in side lane and just be unkillable. And kill whoever comes to me. And if they send, like, 3 people towards me, we just get the whole inhib and then push for base. That's pretty much the macro when inhib's down. Because there's zero reason to stay mid right now when inhib's down. There's just nothing to do here. And I think a lot of people in lower elos don't really understand that either. So just be aware that going here is like never worthwhile if he nips down. Just push another lane. You get way more gold income taking towers. More minions siege their base, and it's like an easier time to end the game as well. With all that being said, this is pretty much a breakdown on the Darius matchup and abusing crash dives. Hopefully you guys learned something in this video. I will try and get another video of the Darius matchup where it is like it's like 1v1 based. But I'll even try and get some like different gameplay VODs too. Like I want to start uploading my stream games to my YouTube, but I'll have to like use a non-copyrighted playlist. And as much as I hate a lot of the music that is, I'll try and find something good just so like I'm not bored and I can like do it effectively. But yeah, that is basically my video. So if you guys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to join my Discord, the comments will it'll be in the comments below. You can talk to me there, keep track of my stream, my YouTube videos. And yeah, if you like my content, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.